All right, here's an example of a typical drum mix for me. Now, that drum mix required 13 separate plugins and 52 total inserts. Now, check out this new drum mix. So that new drum mix, I think it sounds better. Instead of 13 different plugins, it required only 3 different plugins, and we cut the amount of total inserts down from 52 to less than half, only 20 total inserts. Now, I'm going to show you how you can do this too and simplify your drum mixes and make it a lot faster and frankly easier than you might think is possible or allowed. All right, let's dive in. So here's a typical kick chain for me. We had an SSL channel. This is doing EQ, compression, and gating, so that's taking care of a lot. Tape head for some saturation, a waves EQ here just to carve out the low mids more, and an R bass to add a little more low end enhancement. Sounded like this. All right, now let's bypass those and let's just insert one instance of Telos drums, and let's see what we can get from this. That already sounds pretty good. Let's flip back to the other 4 plugins. All right. I'll add the sample back in. Okay, there we go. Let's check out this kick sample. Let's go ahead and put Telos drums on that as well. And really, it looks like all I was trying to do is add a little bit more low ends and a little bit more top ends. Not that much. Okay, cool. Let's move on to snare. Now, this one's pretty crazy. So my snare top on this original mix, I had 6 plugins. This one's grayed out because I just don't have it installed anymore. I did this mix a while ago, but 6 inserts on this track. And again, let's just go ahead and put Telos drums on. I'm going to mute my snare samples. And let's just turn the automation off. We got to get some more level here. Nice, that's sounding good. I want to get a little more crunch out of it, so let's play with the clip and drive knobs. Crazy. Okay, now obviously there's a lot of nasty cymbal bleed in there, so let's go ahead and insert silencer. So this is only the second different plugin that we're inserting so far. put the automation back on here. Now I had that mix a little lower because I did have a snare sample added in. Let's check that out. And let's go ahead and replace that with Telos drums as well. Sounded like I just needed a little more top end, bottom, just an overall enhancement. Sounds way bigger. All right, now I skipped over snare bottom, so let's check that out. So I had SSL channel and tape head on before. Now let's go ahead and check out Telos drums. Cool, and I don't think we need a gate on that either. Now moving on to toms, I used to do this tom trick before we made Silencer. I did this tom trick where I'd split up the toms into 2 tracks, and I'd have one track handling just the top end attack and the other track handling the body, kind of the resonance and the low end of the tom. And that way you could really process things a lot, crank up a lot of top end and not get all the nasty cymbal bleed. But let's go ahead and mute all of these duplicated attack tracks. We don't need those anymore now that we have Silencer. So let's work on this rack tom. A couple really quiet hits here. Let's find a good one. Okay. So 4 plugins on this. We got a gate, SSL channel, another EQ, and some R-bass for low-end enhancement. Let's just get rid of all of that. And once again, let's bring up Telos drums. We'll put it in rack tom mode. I mean, let's go back to the original chain with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plugins in total over 2 tracks. Okay. I mean, that's a nice tom sound. Now let's bypass all those. Let's go to 1 plugin. So basically got the same tone there. There's just all the bleed. So let's bring in Silencer to get rid of that. Boom. All right, and just to save you some time, I just went ahead and did the same thing on the other 2 toms, so just using Telos drums and Silencer only. Now again, let's just A/B a quick section here of the toms originally. So that was 6 plugins per tom split over 2 tracks. Here it is with only 2 plugins per tom and not needing the duplicate track method. Amazing. All right, let's move on to some hi-hats. Where do we have some hi-hats here? So this is an easy one. The only plugin on the hi-hats here is an EQ. So let's just go ahead and replace that. That's pretty much all we need to do. Now let's look at the overheads. So again, I split these into 2 tracks as well. On the 1 track, we've just got some EQ. And an 1176 compressor. And then on the duplicate, this one I just found that I couldn't get enough high end out of the regular overhead track, so I duplicated it, filtered out everything except for the high end, compressed that. So it sounds like that, and I mixed them in. Technique I used to do a long time ago, but let's go ahead and just get rid of that second duplicated overhead track. Let's bypass the original plugins. Let's bring in Telos drums. All right, now we've got a ride track, a China track, and just an extra cymbal stack track. I'm just going to go ahead and copy over the Telos instance from hi-hats, since all we need to do there is just cut out some of the low end and the muddiness. Then we come to the final track. This is the room track. So we had an EQ, compressor, and another channel strip. It's kind of a garbage room track, actually. I didn't use much of it in the mix, but let's see what we can get out of it. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, look at how many plugins have been eliminated here, not to mention just tracks that have been eliminated, the duplicate overhead, the duplicate tom tracks. I mean, let's just go ahead and hide those. Now, that brings us to the drum bus. So I have two drum buses here. One is just the regular bus. It's got the SSL bus comp, little Pultec EQ doing some top end, a little bit of low end, and then some saturation. I also have a parallel compression bus here, but I've muted that, and we'll come back to that later. So let's bypass all three of these, and instead, let's insert Black Salt Audio's drum bus plugin. I don't like to do a ton of compression on this regular drum bus. I just want to feel a little bit of squeeze and extra punch from it. And this salt knob here does a similar thing to the Pultec EQ, and this heat will do the saturation for us. Actually think that has a bit of a nicer punch to it. Now let's check out the parallel compression bus here. Just mute the reverbs. All right, so we had high pass filter, SSL bus comp again, Devil Lock. Just adding some extra intensity. I really like that actually. And then another SSL EQ following it up. So 4 inserts on that one. Let's copy over BSA drum bus again, put it in slam mode. Actually, let me just reset all these knobs. Here we go. Nice. Now let's mix that back in. So there you go. We've taken a collection of 13 different plugins to reach the old drum mix and whittled that down to only 3 separate plugins, and from 52 total inserts to only 20 total inserts. So these 3 plugins, Silencer, Telos Drums, and Drum Bus, these are from my plugin company, Black Salt Audio. I had a major part in designing each one of these plugins just because I wanted them to exist. And Telos Drums is the most recent plugin we released just a few weeks ago as of this video, and I've been getting some amazing feedback from this plugin. People sending me screenshots just showing a drum mix with only this plugin across all the drums, saying that it replaced 4, 5, 6 plugins, and they're getting a drum mix they're happier with in much shorter amount of time just with this one plugin. Now, of course, we've also gotten the haters too, right? There's people who are just entirely committed to the old way no matter what, and some of the typical comments we're getting from them is like, okay, cool, so you combine all these things in one plugin, so what? I can get the same result with my current mix template with 3, 4, or 5 plus plugins, or what's the point of this? Why wouldn't you just create your own pre-saved template? And my response to that is, yeah, sure. That's literally what I've been doing for the last 15 years, using my mix template with all the old plugins that I just showed you exactly how I did it. Now, however, the experience of using it is just completely different. Like, once I tried this plugin, even in the very early stages when we just had a really ugly version and I'm just messing around with it to test it out, and as we're developing, like, once I tried this, I didn't want to go back. Like, going back to the old way of pulling up my old chains with 4 or 5 different plugins, having to switch between these different windows and how long it took, it honestly started to feel unbearable. It was annoying to use. It's like, yeah, you can use a horse and carriage to get from point A to point B, but once you've experienced driving or riding in a car, you might not want to have to deal with the horse and carriage anymore. And another objection that we've seen is that this is just a one-trick pony plugin that only gives you a specific cookie cutter drum sound. Well, I'm going to challenge that just by playing some different drum tracks for you. So here's like a really light kind of folky drum track. That's with no processing at all. Here it is with only Telos drums. Okay, now let's check out another track. Here is some drums from a Nick Johnston song, Totally Dry. So very kind of organic, natural, roomy sounding rock drums. Here it is, again, with only Black Salt Audio plugins. So not an overly processed, overly intense sound. Like, saying that this is a cookie cutter one-trick pony plugin, that's like saying that an SSL EQ is a one-trick pony plugin, or any compressor or saturation is. It's just kind of silly. Here's a couple more examples. This is more of a really dry, kind of thuddy drum kit. So only Telos drums on all of these drum mixes, totally different genres and raw drum recordings, and no samples on any of those either. Here's one more song that I mixed during the development of this plugin, and I just had to commit to it and print it down because I literally could not bear to go back to my old plugin chain. Here's what it sounds like. Cool song there by a band called Bear Ghost. So those drums were mixed with only BSA plugins and with Telos drums while it was still in development months and months ago. And my goal is to be able to mix an entire song only with our own plugins that I helped design, and we're getting close now. The fact that we can do it with drums is pretty exciting. And what you saw there, just the elimination of complexity and getting things down from 52 plugins to 20 or from 13 to 3. Like I'm on a mission to do this not only for drums, but for every other track in the mix. So watch out for plugins. We've been working on some right now for guitars, bass, and vocals that are going to provide a similar result. And the reason I love this, I'm just so excited about this, is because it brings me back to why I got into producing and mixing in the first place, right? It feels fun and creative again, and it's fast. And I really am convinced and convicted that we are long overdue in the audio world to get rid of the technical jargon and the complexity that just doesn't need to be there. Guys, mixing and making music, it's not science. It's not. It's art. It's creativity. It's flow. And I think it's high time for tools that just let you be creative, that let you be an artist with the sound, using your ears and not constantly distracted and stressed out over, different graphs and visualizers and all these numbers and this math and science. I think it's just ridiculous how deep things have gone in that direction and continue to go. Let's get back to being artists again. All three of these plugins, Silencer, Telos Drums, Drum Bus, they're all available now at blacksaltaudio.com. You can go check them out. You can start using them all today if you want, for as little as $12 to get started with the Artist Pass. Of course, you can buy all of our plugins individually too. We've got 10 plugins in our lineup now, more coming soon. But if you want to use more than really 2 of our plugins, then joining the Artist Pass financially makes the most sense. So check it out. You can grab them today, blacksaltaudio.com. And honestly, I hope that using these tools gives you the same experience as me, that it makes it fun again, that it takes you back to the reason you got into this in the first place, to be creative, to have your vision come to life, and just get rid of all this annoying, complex, unnecessary stuff that's standing in the way currently. And you can check out this video next if you want to dive a bit deeper into how Telos Drums works and see another complete drum mix from scratch using that plugin. All right, take care.